special day here at Memorial Stadium. Watson has all day. Hunter Renfro, what a catch in the end zone for the
Tigers. Welcome to the Clemson Game Day Show. I'm Tajh Boyd. I'm here with my co-host TV Williams. Good to see you back in the loose change, baby.
Yes, it's good to see you. We had loose change, and we got to kick the show off with South Carolina.
Ooh, it's a butt whooping. Tell me about it. What you think?
Oh, well, I said it. I was thinking it was going to go 75 to nothing, or 77 to nothing, right. 75. Do you think if they would have left Deshaun Watson in, do you think they would have hit three more touchdowns?
It wouldn't even have been close. They could have put up 80 points if they wanted to.
Right.
I did feel a little bit bad for Jake Bentley coming into that environment. As a true freshman stepping into that arena, he said he's been there before. Obviously, his dad coaching at Burns growing up in the area, but not to that arena in that situation. So I think it overwhelmed him a little bit. I think it overwhelmed Will Muschamp a little bit. And the guys just, came in and Clemson just mud stomped them.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, who stood out to you like in the game?
I think that the combination between Deshaun Watson and Mike Williams was the best game that they've had, obviously, all year. I think that from a collegiate standpoint as a whole, the whole NCAA, I think that Mike and Deshaun either slid up the boards. Man, I think they had the best game as a whole within the whole college football league.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and just that catch. Both of those catches with Mike Williams, where he took all those defenders into the end zone. I mean, it was a phenomenal game. I mean, it was great. I mean, 365 days we get bragging rights.
Absolutely.
Won the state championship. Right. Ended on a win.
And that's the thing. If anybody had any doubts about Deshaun and Mike Williams being a first-round talent,
Woo! Go Tigers!
If anybody had any doubts about Deshaun and Mike being first-round talents, I think they answered all the questions right there. So, Clemson's hitting their stride right now. I know you mentioned that in the past couple of weeks as well about Clemson peaking at the right time.
Right.
So I'm excited to see what happens from this game and this championship game to the rest of the college playoffs.
Oh yeah, and I mean getting into Virginia Tech, our opponent for the night. Bud Foster, a great defensive mind. Go Tigers! Great defensive mind, and Justin Fuente. I mean, we almost had him.
Right.
Instead of Chad Morris. I mean, they got a solid defense. They got a big tight end, and that's giving us a little bit of trouble. Right. They say he's like Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, I was trying to think of his name on the white slip.
Bucky Hodges, and the thing that's interesting about that, and first I jump back to Justin Fuente. During my tenure at Clemson, after we lost Billy Napier as the offensive coordinator, who's now the tight ends coach at Alabama, I was involved in the hiring process for who was going to be the offensive coordinator.
Oh, really?
And I remember sitting down in the meeting room with Coach Sweeney and Ralph Friedgen. I remember sitting in the meeting room with Coach Sweeney and Chad Morris, and I also remember sitting in the meeting room with Coach Sweeney and Justin Fuente. So to see the evolution of him, I think at the time he was very new in the process. I didn't know as a player what he brought to the table. I don't think that Coach Sweeney knew what he brought to the table. But to see what he's done with this Virginia Tech football team has been pretty amazing. I think that, outside of Blacksburg, nobody counted them in this year as far as getting to the title game.
Right.
And, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and they've been I think they've been on sort of like a winning streak. I mean, but now when you saw the interviews, you had all three of them. You was in there with all three of them. Right. I mean, which one did you like best, just personally?
Well, I think that Coach Morris was the obvious answer. I think that he was the offensive coordinator here for a reason. It was because of the energy that he brought. It was because of the personality, because of the charismaticness about him.
Right.
He wanted to come in, he wanted to run tempo, he wanted to put up 90 points a game. And I think that was the change of pace for Clemson at the time, and obviously it was. And it was still heading towards that process. But, I mean, to change over particularly a pro-style offense into a spread environment and changing the culture, and I think that's what Coach Morris did. If you look at Justin Fuente, he's very similar to what Clemson does offensively. So, I mean, it's kind of tell of two stories. I don't think that Gerard Evans is Deshaun Watson at the moment. I think that he's been outstanding this season. I think that he's done a lot of different things.
And he's a big boy.
Exactly. I think that he's done things that people didn't expect him to.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. Bud Foster is heralded as always one of the the best defensive coordinators in college football, and for a good reason. He's coached some tremendous athletes. You know, Macho Harris, Cam Chancellor, Xavier Adebe, DJ Parker.
Wow.
He's put together some tremendous Virginia Tech defenses. And he does a good job of trying to cause chaos, trying to confuse the quarterbacks. I got a chance to play against him 3 times.
Oh, yeah, we getting into that. I told him I was going to ask about that last time we played.
And I know, for example, and just from personal reasons, that he likes to run cloud coverage. He likes to rely on his secondary and rely on his linebackers to blitz and show different stunts and things of that nature. So Clemson's been preparing for this moment. I know that Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott put Deshaun in great light to be able to recognize what's going to happen when he steps on the field.
Right.
So I don't think that Clemson will be surprised at all by what's going to happen tonight.
Right. And like I was trying to bring up earlier, the last time we played Virginia Tech was in Charlotte, where they had the ACC Championship game, and we beat them 38-10, Tiger victory, ACC Championship. And you remember who took home the MVP? Somebody took home the MVP. Oh, Tajh Boyd. There we go. So, I mean, that game. I mean, take us back to that game. What was it like?
Well, I mean, coming into the game, I think we were ranked 21. I think they were ranked either number 3 or number 5 at the time. We had played them in Blacksburg earlier that year. But to come into that environment, we were the underdogs, obviously, with the ranking schedule at least, or ranking scale at least. But we knew what we were capable of as offense, with the weapons that we had. You know, with the Dwayne Allen at the time, Andre Ellington, Jerron Brown, Sammy Nuke.
Right.
Endless weapons. Pick your poison. But we came and executed the game plan. Did what we needed to do. Took care of the football. We made good decisions. And just, did what we were coached to do. And that was just to go and play freely as much as possible. Bud Foster did try to mix up some things in that coverage as well, and that defense as well. There was a couple soft spots in there in the middle of the field that
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean by he mixing up the coverage? Can you explain that?
So he might run a cover 3, the single high safety. The safety has his third of the field. This corner, the right corner has a third of the field, and the left corner has a third of the field. And that's how they divvied it up. In that situation, the outside linebacker tried to take the flat. Middle would take the hook curl. The other outside linebacker would try to take the flat as well.
Right.
Cover it up out there, but there's holes in there. And he might take that cover 3 and try to disguise it as the cover 2 look to try to give you a different pre-snap read and try to alter your decision before the ball is even snapped. And that's the thing, you got to be aware of the safety rotation. You have to be aware of the corner's alignments. Is he playing inside? Is he playing outside? Is the backer closer to the line of scrimmage, or is he deeper? He might run a Tampa 2 look. So all this terminology, and that's what he tries to do as a defensive coordinator, is to just try to mix the coverage up enough to confuse you before the play happens and give you a little bit more of a reaction more than actually knowing what you're doing. So.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, and now the Tigers, they're down there, they're getting ready for the game. I mean, right now, I don't know, what time is it? What would they be doing right now? Like, what would you be doing right now? Like, going into the preparation, just game day, like at the ACC Championship. What do you do before the game?
Well, the championship game is a lot like during the regular season as far as the format and the schedule of timing. Much different than a bowl game because of not the extended period of time that you're there. But this morning they woke up, had breakfast, went straight into meetings. After meetings, they take a snack call. You can go in there, take a nap, look over your playbook, whatever you want to do. They'll come back for lunch. They'll go back to the room. They'll hang out for a while. Hopefully they don't watch ESPN. Hopefully they'll watch cartoons or listen to music or anything else to get them away from focusing on what's happening, what the commentators are saying and things of that nature. At around 4 o'clock, they'll leave the hotel room, go back down to the ballroom, go through walkthrough.
Okay, what's a walkthrough? Just
walkthrough, you'll take the personnel, and you'll make sure everybody knows their assignment, know where they need to be lined up at, know when their package is called that they're supposed to be in there. Same thing with special teams. If you're calling, you might not ever use hands teams, which is preparing for an onside kickoff, but you need to make sure that all the guys know where they're at so when you get to the game, it's not complete chaos out there.
Right.
After they finish the walkthrough, Deshaun or Jordan Leggett or Wayne Gallman have said a couple words to their unit. They break up, hit the buses, head down to what is it called? Camping World Stadium.
Camping World Stadium.
And the quarterbacks will get off the bus, and they'll walk through, and they'll sit there with the coaches, and they'll look at the scoreboard to figure out where the time clock is. You know, knowing how much time you have in the game. They'll look at the marker, try to figure out if there's a crown on the field. All the little details that can get you if you don't pay attention to it before you step on that field for game time. And it was just a process. That was the one thing I didn't like about night games, is that it was just extended, it was just drawn out a little bit. 12 o'clock, 3:30, you're getting off the bus, you're ready to play. But night games, you got too much time to think about what you're going to do. Because you probably know what you're going to do. I would hope so, at least anyways.
Right, yeah.
But, you know, you got all the time in the world to think about it and play devil's advocate, like, what if? You ask your questions, or what if? And that's just a rough deal, man. So.
Right, okay. I mean, that was a great insight, because, I mean, I didn't even think about, like, the crown in the field and, you know, just checking, you know, to see how the markers are and see where everything's at, and, you know, and I mean, that's a huge step. So, I mean, Deshaun's probably right now checking out the field, making sure everything's right.
Right. He's sitting there, and I'm sure he's throwing on his little Uzi, you know.
Okay.
Little Uzi Vert, little Yachty, getting ready. He over there.
Yeah, he getting ready. So, now according to Clemson, who you excited to see tonight? I mean, I know you're excited to see all the Tigers, but
yeah, I think that Wayne Gallman's going to have a big night tonight. I think he has to have a big night tonight. You know, Virginia Tech notoriously has a physical team, and you have to find a way to take their will in this game. And it's all going to be predicated off of that O-line and their will to beat that man across them, and Wayne Gallman just punching him in the mouth every time he runs the football. Naturally, he's one of the most aggressive runners in college football, period.
Right.
But we're going to have to ride him a little bit to open up the pass game.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, with me, I'm looking forward to Dexter Lawrence. I mean, he ate up South Carolina. They tried to do that little shovel pass like what Pitt did, but he ate it up. He just won ACC Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ben Boulware, I'm looking forward to him. You know, he's the heart of the defense. He's the emotion of the defense. I mean, you got Carlos Watkins.
Right.
I think he lead the nation in tackle for a loss. I mean, that's, you know, Mike Williams.
And that was one of the things that I think that if Virginia Tech has any chance tonight, first, the offensive line is going to have to protect like hell.
Yes.
Because, again, I mean, you look at those monsters up front, Christian Wilkins, Carlos Watkins, Dexter Lawrence, all of these guys, I mean, they're going to wreak havoc in the backfield all night. Right. Rod Evans will be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be swarmed the whole night.
Yeah, and you got our corners, Jadar and
Cordell Tankersley.
Yeah, they 8th in the nation for pass defense. I mean,
they came out with some pre-mock drafts. They had Tankersley going around the number 5 pick overall.
Oh wow!
So I think that he's going to come in here and continue to play with that chip because he wants to prove that he's the best corner in college football, and he's going to be matched tonight. I mean, Isaiah Ford is not a slouch. He's one of the better receivers in college football. But again, I think that Clemson plays their game. They wipe the floor with these boys tonight. I got a chance to talk a little trash to Cam Chancellor and the boys earlier this week.
Okay.
You know, Tyrod Taylor is a guy who grew up in the same neighborhood as I. And, you know, he was obviously the Virginia Tech quarterback around that time. And Logan Thomas and all these guys. So there's a lot of history in this Virginia Tech Clemson battle.
So you talked to him this week?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all done talk?
Talking noise out there. You know?
Okay.
Ready for the boys to show up and show out.
Okay.
I texted Mike earlier and I said, look, breathe easy. Go out there, be great. Be the best player in college football, and I think he'll do that tonight. Right.
And you know the one person I'm looking forward to, should I do it to him?
Got to. Let's
Deshaun. You know I'm looking forward to Deshaun. Now I think he should win the Heisman. I think he can go out there and secure it tonight.
And I think that he can make his case tonight on why he should win it. The last 4 games that he's played in, I think he's had around a 75% completion percentage.
November. The Heisman won in November.
Exactly. That's a fact right there. And it'd be hard to argue why he shouldn't win it. I mean, I truly think he's the best quarterback in college football. I think he's performed like it this season.
Right.
I think he's willed his team to some victories over the course of this year. And he's just a great representation. The problem with the Heisman is that nobody can tell you what the Heisman is or what it's about. You know, is it the best player on the best team? The best player overall? Right. Is it the guy with the best statistics? I think that a lot of, because in the Heisman voting, I don't think that they take into account the player off the field as well. And if you look at everything that Deshaun does for Habitat for Humanity, the things that he does in the community.
Graduating in 2.5 years.
Exactly. Him being on Dean's list. I mean, all these things should go into effect and to an account when you're considering the Heisman Trophy. So hopefully he can go out there, put up some huge numbers tonight and make his case for it.
Right. And his number 1 contender is Lamar Jackson. I mean, and frankly, if the Heisman won in November, I've heard that all my life.
Right.
He lost his last 2 games.
That's the thing. I mean, you can't lose to a Kentucky or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, and if I had a game on the line, and so I had to pick any quarterback in college football, I think any team would pick Deshaun. Right. I mean, why not?
He's clutch, man.
Yeah, he's a clutch guy. I mean, he's only lost like what, 3 games total in 3 years.
And what makes him that way is his composure, the way he keeps his cool throughout a game. He can go out there and throw a pick 6 and come back and throw 4 touchdowns because it rolls off his shoulders.
Right.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks in college football that can do that. There's not a lot of quarterbacks, period,
that can do that.
So that's a special trait. That's something that you don't really develop. It's something that you just have, and he has that. That's what he calls that it factor.
Right. Okay. I guess we need to move on to those predictions. And you going first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna plug. I got a camp December 17th.
Oh yeah.
Tajh Boy Youth Football Camp.
Where's it at?
Welcome to come out. It's at the Croc Center.
From
1 to 5.
1
Got some
p.m.
great
to 5
guys
p.m.?
out there. My dog Jordan Reams is out there.
Okay.
Out there helping the coach. Woody Dancer's out there. Juan and Christian. We're having a great time. We're out here just trying to, it's a great stocking stuffer, obviously, but it gives you guys a chance to interact with the players, get a chance to learn all the skills that we learned, and at the end of the day, take some of the mental advice and the mental notes that we had and portray it to the kids, man. The parents usually have a great time, so you can register at teamtajh.com.
Okay.
Check it out.
Teamtajh.com. Y'all check that out. And I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, a lot of players that are really good, like they're going off to college and stuff, they get mentors like from the camps, because you can go there and find out things like, okay, well, when you're in high school, some people might not know, I need a demo reel, I need to do this, I need, so you and all of your colleagues, y'all formally work together, y'all have been there, so you know the steps it takes. So when a kid come to a camp like that, I mean, that could be life changing, and it has been. Like I've heard it out of people's mouths, like going to that camp changed my life,
Absolutely.
So Tajh got a camp coming.
That's the thing. I mean, there are certain moments in life that you'll never forget, regardless of how old you are. There's a lot of things that you forget over time. It just wipes past you.
Right.
But things like when you get a chance to interact with certain people, the conversations that you have, the meetings that you have,
right.
Essentially, they all lead up to who you are, because there are certain instances where you say, well, I would change this about this situation, or I would look at this situation and figure out how to change it. And you look at a guy like Chris Chancellor, PT, shout out to Chris Chancellor. He got Police Officer of the Year.
Oh yeah, Officer of the Year. We had him as a guest earlier, a few shows ago.
It's it's always good to see guys doing things like that in the community.
Right.
Because we never know where life takes us, but at the end of the day, we can't worry about where we've been. We got to worry about where we're going to go and how we're going to utilize that time and make the most of that time. So you see that, man. You see that example.
There have been hundreds of quarterbacks in the ACC, and this guy right here leads them in touchdowns.
Still got some merit out there in the streets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank y'all for watching. You got anything else?
Yeah. What about these predictions?
Oh, the predictions. We got
I'm gonna go ahead and start it off because I already know you're gonna.
You know I'm gonna up it up. I'm gonna go real high.
I don't think that Virginia Tech will put a lot of points on the board. I think that Clemson's offense is going to be on the field all night. So I'm going to say that the score is probably going to be 45-10. I think that Sean brings home the championship trophy tonight, the MVP. So looking forward to seeing that.
I'm kind of right where he's at, maybe 10 points off. I'm going, because I know if we start beating them so bad, they're going to take Deshaun out like they did the South Carolina game, so it kind of messed me up. So I'm going to go, if they do take him out, I say we can go 55-0. 55-0. We're going to throw a 0 on there.
Absolutely. Goose egg, baby.
Yeah, goose eggs. Goose eggs. All right, thank y'all for watching.
See you guys next time.
Yep, see you later. All right.
Appreciate it.